Good morning. I'm not going to wait till the end of the day to record the video. I'm going to get it done. I've been actually working since a little after 5 o'clock. I've gotten quite a bit of paperwork done and reports filled out that I needed to do that I've been putting off and getting things accomplished. But the video that I'm going to do this morning, I've titled it, Let's Talk About Dr. Mary. I don't know if I will ever get around to making that report of my history with Dr. Mary, which I wanted to be quite inclusive, including the house history. I haven't heard anything from the court since I showed up and was told that my motion to dismiss had been granted. I have a wrong word that I typed there. I don't know why. Last I checked, it still showed PNC Bank as the owner of my home, although there is nothing new posted in the official records over the past month. I suppose I may need to visit the court to learn more. Indeed, I did look, and there's no new information. There's no new information since earlier in the year. I don't know why they haven't posted anything, but there's nothing there. And so the most recent information still shows PNC Bank, although my motion to dismiss the whole case apparently was granted because there's been no action taken by PNC Bank or their alleged attorney, who the PNC Bank claims they have no relation to the case. So I don't know if that's true or not, but they've disclaimed the whole thing. And we're still here, and nobody's bothering us. But Dr. Mary was an amazing, amazing friend. I referred to her often as my non-judgmental mother, because my own mother, who was of course raised as a fundamentalist Christian, did not understand my more liberal outlook on things in my life. I mean, I've been moving in the direction of a more unified faith. That is, a faith that recognizes that God is in all religions, a faith that recognizes that God is in all creation, including us. And we are creators, but we are also part of the creation. Are we part of God? I think we probably are, but I don't know exactly how that works. At this point in time, I think we're going to have a great unfolding. But Dr. Mary was amazing. She believed in me. When when I began having meetings in her church, she just took a liking to me. I don't know what it was, but for more than 10 years before she died, she was one of my friends. And when she invited me to move into the ministerial visiting ministers apartment complex, which was above her garage, when she shut down her church and retired, supposedly, I got to know her real well. I mean, we would spend time sitting out in front of her house, just talking and talking and talking. And she was a wealth of information, and she was a strong support for me. It probably broke her heart when I got involved with a young lady, and I became engaged. Actually, the engagement was later broken, but I was spending most of my nights with my to-be wife, my fiance at the time, and Dr. Mary thought, well, Ron's not going to need my house now when I die, which she had always told me she was going to give me her house when she died. And one day I used to go over there every day because I never took my computer out of that garage apartment, the apartment above her garage where I had lived all those years. And she said, Ron, she said, well, actually, here's how it worked. I came home one day, and these people that I didn't even know were um, dropping her off at her house when I showed up. And I'm in the driveway, and they're in the driveway. And they said, uh, and she said, I made a new will. And the lady who was the banker's wife said, don't worry, we've left you a little something. A little something is the truth of what they did. And then Dr. Mary came to me, I don't know, a few weeks, a month later, and she said, Ron, I've made a terrible mistake. Anyway, she got a copy of the will that she had made with the banker and his wife, giving them the property, basically giving them her property. Uh, a total con job. And they, they had taken her to their lawyer to arrange the whole thing. And she just was not, she just realized, hey, I really screwed up here. Uh, and so we actually went to a few different lawyers, and we finally found a Jewish lawyer that she really related to and could appreciate and was relaxed with. And he created um, a new will, which was actually, what do you call it? Uh, I don't remember all the legal details right now, and I'm not going to try to rack my brain trying to figure it out. But he created a trust, and I was the beneficiary of her trust, along with um, the the Shriners, which were um, her husband was a Shriner, and she gave half of the property to me and half of the property to the Shriners, and 50%. Well, that's 50%, and there was $5,000 in addition. Now, remember, her property was on Southern Merritt Island. For those of you that know Southern Merritt Island in Brevard County, Florida, it's prime real estate. The house was listed for $999,000. I had two offers, 870 and 850, neither of which, uh, both of which I should say, fell through when I notified them that there was a lis pendens, a lawsuit filed by the banker's wife. Not the banker. The banker actually, when he was called up, he had a couple of strokes that year also when she died. And when he was the only one that I testified, and the PNC Bank's lawyer grilled me for 2 days. 2 days. I mean, it must have been 8 hours one day and 6 more the next day. And then the banker was questioned, but he didn't even know, he didn't remember. The one that should have been questioned was his wife. She was the one that was behind the whole thing. Phyllis, yeah, you. But anyway, the whole thing came out that, as I said, I went to court for a hearing, and they said there is no hearing today. Your case has been dismissed. Your motion to dismiss has been granted. And I confirmed that with the court, but there's been nothing put in writing. I just checked this morning now again, and there's nothing in writing to show that. And I don't know what's going on. That's what I was told. And as I said, they've been leaving me alone. But Dr. Mary, a month before she died, gave a talk. And I have friends that were at that talk, including one of my friends, Karen, who reminded me, she reminded me of how sharp Dr. Mary was a month before she died. Now, she had good moments and she had bad moments. She had moments where she had memory lapses. I do too. I have times that I don't remember something that I should remember, and I just don't remember it in that moment. And does that mean I'm senile? I hope not. I hope I'm pretty coherent. And she was very coherent in her talk. And my friend happened to watch a video where I was talking about Dr. Mary and verified what I'm telling you. She is now in Costa Rica, my friend, but she lived here at the time. and she still, I think, has property here, although I'm not 100% sure of whether that property's been released to the bank or whether she just let it go. I don't know. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Uh, Dr. Mary and I were friends. As I said, she referred to me uh, as the son she never had, and I referred to her as my non-judgmental mom. And she treated me like a son. I mean, she was my bosom buddy. She went to as many of the meetings that I held as she could go to, even when she wasn't the speaker. And it was quite interesting watching her as she moved into her final years. And as I said, a month before she died, she was totally coherent and was able to give a tremendous message. Um, yeah, she had bad moments, she had good moments, but she wasn't crazy. She knew what she was doing. In any case, I wanted to clear that record because people have been in the past making accusations against me, and I took advantage of Dr. Mary. Nothing could be further from the truth, folks. I mean, nothing could be further from the truth. You don't know. People that make those kind of accusations are coloring me with their own personality. It's not something that I would do. I would not. In fact, when she was trying to put me in her will, I says, Dr. Mary, I don't want. She says, I have to do it this way. I have to do it this way, Ron. Uh, and I finally consented. But I wasn't pushing her. She was pushing me. And I don't want anything from anybody that's not mine. Now, people say, Ron, the house you're living in, you got that as a result of that trust. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. This house was a part of that trust, and the trust was broken by not me, but by the courts. By the action in the courts, it went on hold, and I made an agreement with the attorneys that if they would leave the house alone, they could have whatever other profits they got from the sale of the property. I gave them permission. I gave them power of attorney to sell the Merritt Island property, Dr. Mary's home. And they ended up selling it for the same price that I bought this house for. But this house was a 6-month, it wasn't a mortgage, it was a 6-month loan. And it was to be paid in 6 months, but it was impossible for me to pay it. It was no fault of my own. It was tied up in the courts. So in any case, I hope this clears up some of the people that have confusion about this. I didn't do anything wrong, and I'm not doing anything wrong by living in the house that was left to me. That was Dr. Mary's will. It was her last will and testament. And that's a matter of record. And I'm reaffirming it now again that PNC Bank is going to leave me alone. I hope the changes that are happening in the banking world and with the United States and with the fraudulent stuff is finally going to reach a crescendo and come to a head, and the banksters are finally going to be shown the door. Get out. We don't need you here on this planet anymore. But Dr. Mary was an amazing lady. She believed in me. I believe in her. I still have a lot of her stuff here in my house. A whole dresser that's just filled with her clothes. I'm going to take action in the next little while, hopefully in the next month or two. I'm going to take action to start moving some of her stuff into charities and other things, and maybe give some of it to Unity Church to help them raise money, because they sure need it. Anyway, that's my story, and I hope I've clarified a lot of things for a lot of you. This is the longest video that I've done in a good while. I can see it's almost 15 minutes already. It's going to be a little less because I'm going to stop right now. But thank you for listening, and for those of you that had questions, I hope this answered many of them. Namaste.